You alive?
I'm living. Did you get your test results yet?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, negative.
Yeah, me too.
Again, second one?
Yep. Yeah, those test results came in quickly. I was surprised.
Yeah.
It said 3 to 4 days, and it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
Wasn't much fun doing the test. The first time when I went to the city to do it, they did it themselves. You know, they stuck the thing up your nose, just on one side, and having to do it yourself on both nostrils was a bit much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the CVS one. I like the CVS one better because you can. It seems like you don't have to go all the way to the back of your fucking skull.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hello.
Is it you? Is it winter over there? Winter in the Heights? What the fuck?
I'm outside, dude. It's cold outside.
Is it really?
Baby, it's cold outside. It's the rapey song.
Oh,
Blackwater Draw coffee mug, by the way. Blackwater
nice.
Draw, friends of ours up there in College Station, Brian.
sweet.
Good looking mug. Man, wish we had some. Checks the mail.
They're apparently they're on the way.
Yeah. Eric, is there any movement on the Continental, or is that?
I haven't heard word one, and the last thing I heard was they just weren't going to open.
Oh, at all?
But that's not confirmed. That's not confirmed by anybody.
Yeah.
But Alan Hill, because I was asking him about it, and apparently they got the green light from TABC, and then the green light was turned to red, and I'm not sure if they're going to proceed or what the situation is.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to. So it sounds like they're just trying to squeeze every penny out of these fucking bars before they, because that's what I talked to Pete right after we finished the recording, and he said everything was a go, and then they shut him down, and he said I'm not paying any more money because that's what they keep asking for. So yeah, it's a grift. It's another. Tis the year of the grift.
Kidding. So it's all TABC thing. It's not the city.
I don't think it's the city. I think it's TABC.
It's definitely TABC because the city has no control over whether your bar opens or closes. That's basically a statewide thing because the licenses are all given through the state.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, he was told he could open, and then
I know,
and then for whatever reason they changed their mind. So
should we see if Jeff wants to move to the new potato gig, and we'll just do that one?
Sure. Why not?
I mean, we're still on for that if everybody's up to it.
What day is that?
Yeah, it's the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Like the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's no E in potato, by the way. I hate to pull a Dan Quayle on you, but unless they have an E in their name, potato, like the foot.
Yeah.
Same. Look who made the podcast.
Ringalicious. Ringo.
They're calling your name, bro.
He's got bitches on his mind.
Yes, he does. Even though he can't, so he can't. It's fine. Chad, what are you drinking in that fancy cup?
Cranberry juice.
Ooh, guess we new bass player.
Why?
Why not?
I don't know. It's not something that you hear every day.
Yeah, nobody drinks cranberry or. Yeah.
I started craving a lot of weird stuff while I was sick.
Are you pregnant again?
Yeah, I might be.
So you were sick this last couple of weeks, Chad? Were you?
Yeah.
You flew in it? Did you fly in with your flu?
Apparently, yeah. Didn't get a flu test, but I don't know what else it could be. But I've been.
You got a COVID test and shit?
Yeah, I've been tested for COVID twice now, and it was negative both times. So I think that pretty much settles it. So
Yeah,
I got tested on Friday.
You did?
Negative.
I got tested too, negative as well. Yeah, they asked me not to come back, and I was really negative. I said, you do what you're good at. So
they don't want to see the inside of your mouth anytime soon.
Well, that was part of the reason too. I have a new way of testing, and they didn't like that. They said we can't use any of this gear anymore.
So where are we at today, Chad? What episode is this?
This is episode number 94.
SlapperCast 94. Okay.
We got to plan something big for the big 100, whenever that's going to be. Probably right around Xmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should get Nico.
Yeah.
Hang on. There we go. He wanted to get up here, so.
Hey.
There's Ringo. Made
Yeah, you say he wants to get up there, but we don't speak Ringo.
nobody does.
Yeah, he's protesting right now.
He's just getting comfy.
Okay.
He's getting all comfy.
There you go.
There he goes. So what are we talking about today?
I don't know.
Well, so we're up in the air about the Continental show. So if not,
Do you want me to text him and ask him? Because
yeah. Hit him up with a text. We'll just see what Okay, so everybody's negative. Everybody's testing, and then and so we talked to I talked to Eamon from Molly's, and I talked to Chris from Blackwater. Just checked in and say hello. They seem to be doing all right. They're trying to hold it together, and we were. You heard us talk about the Continental show. We were booked for the Continental Club, and they were scheduled to open. Everything was set to go. And then TABC pulled the rug out again. Looks like they're trying to squeeze more money out of these bars that have been closed since March. We're as in the dark as everybody at this point. And I tell you something, I'm glad that we had all this recording to do over this time. I don't know if I'd have gone and shot up a heroin or a school or something.
a heroin school.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm cut out to sit still very long.
What did we record? What have we done so far? What's going on with this whole recording thing we keep talking about?
I think we got a single. I think we got a Christmas single coming out.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And I like the sound of it when I heard it.
Yeah. I like the sound of the young lady that we have singing on it.
My partner in crime, Leslie DeHaven.
Yeah.
5 years, apparently 5 years today we started dating.
Really?
There you go. Yeah. On Monday the 23rd, we started dating back in 2015.
So, well, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Very, very fond of her. And
Yep.
no idea what an incredible voice she has.
She had a really good time singing that. She had a lot of fun. And when I replayed her the link that you sent me and Chad, she was like, okay, that's actually really good. We're all our own, worst or best critics. And she was like, yeah, that really came out good. So she enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
Well, so what we're talking about, SlapperCast land, is we recorded a cover of the Pogues' Fairy Tale New York. Never liked the song. Never liked to perform the song for many different reasons. But also, it's Kirsten McCall, the female lead on the song, was an incredible voice, and she just had a presence. There was something about that recording, the way that she captured that moment, that song, and owned it. And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to get invited to your Christmas party, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like the way anybody sang it. And you and Leslie, over a few glasses of wine one night, were messing around. You sent me a snippet, just a recording of her. That's what a recording looks like there, kids.
Universal symbol for fun.
Yeah. And I literally had the hair on my arm stand up. So it was I said, yeah, let's do it. So we went in BB Gun Studios as usual, and we recorded it, and we had a glockenspiel performance by young Master Hughes.
Yeah, man.
I'm still impressed. I'm still impressed by that.
Those 4 years of college finally paying off.
So and for those listening at home, we went in and he's just going, gah, 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 so we calmed him down a little bit and we got him to actually play. But it sounds really, really good.
It was fun to do.
So anyway, so the song is ready, and we have it over with Christopher Longwood. He's was the main man for many years over at Sugar Hill, and so he's mastering it right now. And so we're gonna have so all our Patreon listeners are gonna have a recording here pretty soon. Yeah, it was just really, really fun to do, and not a typical song that I would have ever thought that we would have covered, and especially the arrangement too. It was not what. And of course, Jeff Duncan came in and did an amazing job on the fiddle, and just we really put a lot of remember talking to Paul Beebe and going, man, there's a lot of shit on here. We got, you had to sift through a lot. We put a lot of layers on it. So hopefully you all will enjoy it.
You did a great job.
Just in time for the holidays.
Yeah. I'm in the process of actually got 2 other Christmas songs and working on, hopefully we're going to have them ready for the next show.
We're going to have a second Christmas single?
Yeah, it's already done. I mean, the song is already done, unfortunately, because we haven't seen each other. Yeah, we haven't had a chance.
When is the record coming out?
We're still mixing. Paul has got some engagements over this Thanksgiving week that we're in. So, but it should be full steam ahead once we get back. So I'm hoping that we'll be mastering within 2 weeks from today, November 23rd.
I'm just hoping that the drums get turned up. That's all I want.
I didn't know you wanted the drums on there. Note to self, take hand clap off, replace with drums. Okay. We did get a couple of mixes. We did get a couple of mixes from Paul from some of the tracks off the record, and they sounded really good. He mixed them really well, but we, like Eric said, we want to up the drums in them, and a lot of times. These records come out, like we complained about it many times about other artists' recordings being very, very, very top heavy or very, poppy sounding, like a pop record sounding. And we don't have, we tend to drift in through so many different genres that it's hard to pinpoint, so it's hard for Paul to say where and when, the song becomes a rock song or it becomes, slightly folky or country or whatever it is. So we have we just have that little language gap with Paul that we need to just sew up, and it really won't take long at all because, the wonderful thing about working with Paul is he knows our live show and he also knows our, intimately now knows our, our process for putting this stuff together. So, and anybody done anything fun, Eric? You go out of town at all? Do you go see anybody or no? Yeah.
Went to the store. That's about it.
No, I didn't really do anything except go to the store occasionally. I felt like shit.
What's you, Patrick? Where you been?
Great. I've been here. I've been actually worked out in the garden yesterday. I went over and I just we haven't had rain for I don't know how long, so it's just my allergies gone crazy today. But I've been working on songs. Just I think we're gonna have to record a new record right after this one gets done because I just
good.
Just nonstop. I had to get a bass because we left my other bass in Ireland, so we don't have to travel with one, and right. So I picked up a real cheap bass. I've been just doing these new song ideas. And it's just there's nothing more depressing than a band that records every single idea, Rolling Stones, every single idea they've ever had, and just I've just been on this loop of just songwriting or just ideas and stuff like that, and I have to, and I'm limited because I have a drum machine on the recording thing that I have, and it really it's just a bastard versions of the other drum beat that you have. So it really is there's not a lot of, although there's 100 pages of drum. I'm sure I could manipulate them if I would open a manual, but I'm not going to read a manual. So I'm left with these factory settings of drum loops, and essentially it's the same thing. It's a swing version of a heavy rock beat or a reggae version of a pop beat or something. So there's no, so I'm limited in what I can do, and I'm always trying to feel what the song will play like in front, if we ever get out and play again. And reading, I've taken up reading. So I say I won't read a manual. That's true, but I've been reading a ton of books. So
cool.
Yes, trying to stay busy. Trying to get to like I say, I'm trying not to go out and just start slapping people. I'm through. I'm done. Gotta get out. No, nobody picked up any new hobbies. No drugs.
You know, I mean, I got new drum heads today that just came in, and I ordered some sticks the other day, so that's exciting. So I have new stuff coming in, but just gotta, you know, I mean, I can play here. I can put them, you know, change the heads and beat on the drums here, but it doesn't quite, you know, it doesn't quite fulfill the need of playing live, of course.
Yeah.
Thinking of you, Chad, the other day, I had a nice email exchange with Pat Mostolato.
Oh, yeah.
For Mr. XTC, of course, now King Crimson. He presented at the drum convention that we had a couple weeks ago, and he sent me a track. I'll send it to you guys if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool multi-layered thing. It's just ridiculous sounding, but not a pop song, just like a 7-minute like crazy thing. It's cool.
He was touring with Adrian Blue once. I think it was when he was at the Aerial Theater or Verizon Wireless, whatever it was called at the time. Eric Johnson. It was a dual bill with Eric Johnson and Adrian Blue. Their bands.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a Eric Johnson fan. I don't know much about his stuff, but I think I recognized maybe one or two of his songs when he played.
I don't know if I recognize any of Eric Johnson's songs, but some friends of mine have played drums for him. So
yeah,
that's exciting and new.
Yeah, I have the record, the Eric Johnson record with Cliffs of Dover on it. That was a big deal when it came out, and the rest of the stuff was actually I have 2 CDs. And both are very, very. I'm just kind of boring. Kind of, you know, great player, nice tone, but
Eric Johnson or Joe Satriani, buy or sell?
Sell both.
Sell both. There you go.
Yeah, Satriani. I don't even think he could do a soundtrack to a. Actually, I better not even say that. But he just incredible player. But I've never heard anything that stayed with me. It was just watery, note filled. I've been on a kick too of watching every single Eddie Van Halen related, thing. I still can't let that go. But what people miss about Eddie's playing is, yes, there was a million notes on top of it, but the stuff underneath it, the stuff that he wrote, the stuff that he composed and built on, just mind blowing. And Eric Johnson's stuff was good, and Satriani's stuff was good. A lot of notes on there, but it just seemed that there was nothing under it. Everything was, you could put a Casio keyboard under everything that they, samba, and play over it, and it's, get the same, But
I love those. I love those Casio keyboard drum set sounds too. Like you just said, like here's the bossa nova. Here's the samba. Same thing, but slightly faster.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about this, the thing about Eddie Van Halen too. I know we keep coming back to him, obviously, because he's still recent to us that he passed away. But in all those years, he never really had the ego to put out a solo record. He didn't put out like Eric Johnson. Here's my solo guitar record. It's not like there's not an Eddie Van Halen solo album out there, is there? Of him just playing solo guitar shit.
No, and yeah. he really only stepped out of Van Halen a few times, for the Michael Jackson thing, and he did, he played on the, he did a couple of things, but Alex Van Halen never played with anybody, just
right.
And Eddie always said, if I'm in a band, it's going to be Alex back there. That's it. He always said that, and so I was watching the Wolfgang Van Halen interviews, and he's talking about. He said that, Alex is doing well, as well as can be expected. But, he and Alex now are going to be the tour guides, if you will, for the music that will be released, if any, later. But yeah, just they lived and breathed their music. They wrote and they performed as a band, and they, like you said, it must be so tempting to go off and do it must be so tempting if you're Eric Johnson or whoever, has to go out and do so, because I've written songs that are not going to be performed in Blaggards. They're not, they're not Blaggards, but it's not for, it's just, you have to get that. And this is what I've realized. And this is what these last few months have taught me. It's not a case of, you have to get that stuff out of you. You have to get that music out to make way for the next one. That's how I've been doing it. Because otherwise you end up, these songs kind of become entwined in each other, and then it's a mush. It's or thin or too much, or so.
Yeah.
It's a little glimmer of light in there.
You're not ready to start Patrick Devlin and the Devtones? For all your non-Blaggard stuff.
Been done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The non-Blaggard stuff is. I don't even know. I'll probably steal from it, when in need, but I'm not going. It's not going to be there's not going to be a Gregorian chant. Wow, actually, that sounds like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, the last one sold like how many bazillion copies? So make a new one.
Yeah,
we'll just get a bunch of pictures of Chad in a robe, and we'll just fucking Photoshop that shit and put it out there. Just say it's the Chadorian chants.
That's the title of his solo record.
Yeah, why not? Hey, so I just got a text from Pete, and he says, no go for the show, maybe one day. So there is no Continental happening this week.
All right.
I was really looking forward to that.
I think everybody's looking forward to that. Not just us, but everyone else.
So Chad, all the symptoms subsided?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm still kind of woozy right now, but the fever was the main thing. The fever was the main thing I was waiting to break, and it finally did a couple of days ago. It wasn't even a particularly bad fever; it's just it wouldn't go away. Like a lot of times, it wouldn't even respond to Tylenol or anything. I don't think I'd be standing here right now if I was still feverish.
I had a nice email from Brian Reeves today up in College Station. He's checking on all of us. St. Brian. He's I don't know if anybody knows, but Brian used to teach Tyson how to throw a punch, and he's done pretty well. So Brian, thank you for checking in. Yeah, so I guess we'll check and see if Jeff will switch days, or maybe we'll do a live stream from the.
Yeah, let's see if that works.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for getting that info, Eric. That's good to know.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Unfortunately for Pete, I just can't. Of course, we're all in the same boat, but you just feel so bad for these people that have, we can go out and play on top of a roof somewhere, or these guys don't have. There's no. Pete's working a full-time job right now. He's just.
But he's still hanging in there, which is a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't shuttered his doors. I've already heard a bunch of clubs in Austin have already kind of closed up. I can't tell you which one. I don't know off the top of my head, but I talked to some friends up there about what's going on, and they're like, yeah, this is closed. This is closed. This is not going to open. So it's crazy. Bad times. Hopefully the regime change, we'll get some good news and start forging ahead and get next year and get cleaned up for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's all we have right now. That's all we got. And then so I guess moving forward then in December we have Timeout 3 and I meant to ask you back. So how did the percussive arts? How did the whole thing go?
It went very well. It was exceptional work by the staff and the crew up there in Indianapolis. That's where the home base is, and they all had 5 or 6 computers going at once, and which means that there was 4 or 5 things going on every hour. So like at 1 o'clock you'd have a timpani thing on this feed, and most of it was all pre-recorded. So it was basically them just kind of lining things up, and at 1 o'clock things start. David Garibaldi, drummer for Tower of Power, he wanted to do his live, so that was kind of a challenge because when you logged on to it, he was on mute. So you had to unmute. I mean, he wasn't on mute, but your screen would be on mute. So you had to unmute it. And there was like a lot of, and I was basically the hall monitor for all the chat, for all the drum set stuff. So I just basically was on there making sure there was no jackasses in the chat room. And so I had to say, put your mouse over your screen, unmute about 5 or 6 times during his thing. But that was no, people just.
Speaking of which, could you fix your microphone again?
Oh, sorry. My call's in the way. There we go.
That's that'll help. There you go. Okay.
That's what he's looking for. He's just looking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, so I only watched the drum set stuff, but I know that from hearing about everything else went off without a hitch, and just was really, really well done. And I know that Modern Drummer did a thing over the summer where they basically had like just guys playing drum solos for like 10 minutes at a time, and then they would click to another one. And I heard that one wasn't quite, well, didn't go very well. Like you'd be playing, all of a sudden it would cut, and then the next one would show up. It's just like, come on, you guys. And then Drumhead Magazine did one this weekend. But again, I think it was just guys playing drum solos. We actually had an educational component to ours. Like the person would do a solo or whatever and then talk about it. Or like Will Calhoun for Living Color, he had sent his in, but he was in the chat room. So you could ask Will a question in the chat, and he would say, hey, Patrick, how's it going? Yeah, so the reason why I do this is because of whatever. So that was cool. Like I think all the drummers showed up to be in the chat room for people to ask questions to. So it was really, really well done. A lot of fun.
Excellent. And yeah. I've asked this before, and forgive me, I'm spacing. Is there anything for the general public to see, or is this all?
So because it was all online this year, there is a certain amount of I can't even say the word, ownership that PASIC has to their product.
Yeah.
And if you signed up for it, which you can still sign up for it and watch it if you want to, you can still register and go online and watch it. You can watch it till the 31st of December. So after the year closes, they'll probably release like a little bit of clips here and there on YouTube. And if they do, I'll track them down and we can maybe share them with the people or whatever. Because there's actually some really great stuff out there.
Excellent. Yeah. I'd love to see it.
Really great drummers. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, especially ECH fans would be interested in just, in that separate, little piece.
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about it, and we had several meetings before and during with different, we had a committee chairs meeting before. I had my drum set committee meeting before, and then we had a couple like happy hours, like online, like we're doing here. Yeah. And the executive director, Joshua, my good buddy, he was basically saying that, with a change in the government, with the vaccine coming out, there's a really good chance that we'll actually be able to meet in person next year, which will be great. I mean, people love the online platform. I think it worked out well. We just get more people live. When we do it live, more people show up. Yeah. I think we had maybe close to 3,000 people online watching this thing, which is nice for us. It's not huge, but it's also, that's a good number. That's more than we were expecting. Yeah. And also we talked about including an online component with your registration next year. So if you end up, so let's just say it ends up happening in person next year, where you actually physically go to Indianapolis to go to the convention, there'll be like a bonus, like online thing as well. And we're not quite sure what that's going to be. And then after PASIC is over, if you want to buy this online component, like if you didn't go, you could spend, if you were just a regular schmo that wanted to just check it out, you could spend money because it seems like it was a really interesting way. Plus, you end up getting people from parts of America that would never ever go to it because they couldn't afford it, because it costs money to travel, it costs money for a hotel, it costs money for registration. So you could drop a lot of money on this thing if it was happening in person. But here is a component where it maybe costed you $150 for the weekend, and you get to rewatch it for almost a month and a half. And so we're drawing in people from not only America, but also all over the world that, obviously international travel is crazy expensive, even if we can do it. Can't do it right now, but even if we could do it. So it's a way to kind of like draw more people that would want to go to actually show up. You know, because I remember being a kid and reading Modern Drummer and seeing this PASIC thing. They have a PASIC review like come like the January issue or whatever, and I'd be like, what is this thing all about? Now I finally get to go and be part of it. It's really a lot of fun. It's like, you know, get 6,500 drummers hanging out, talking shop and partying like rock stars and hanging out and just having a good old time. So
yeah,
it's a lot of fun. So thank you for asking. It was very, very, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times already. I'll say it 1,001 times. Can't thank the Percussive Art Society's staff for just a killer job. I actually emailed one of the girls and said, will you go and pick up some champagne for you guys to have on Saturday and bill me for it, because I just want to say thank you guys for doing such a great job. And they drank all of it. So it was a good sign.
Good.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Did you learn anything about Neil Peart in that roundtable?
So yeah, so we had a roundtable discussion that I was the host of for Neil Peart. We had Rob Wallace and Joe Bergamini, who are two guys from a company called Hudson Music that put out videos and drum books and stuff like that. And they had been working with Neil for a long time. Chris Stanke from Sabian Cymbals that I play, a good buddy of mine. He's the artist guy. So he was the one that was basically crucial for having Neil leave Zildjian and create his own line of cymbals, because Neil has his own line of cymbals at Sabian called Paragon. And then Mike Portnoy, who's a drummer for Dream Theater and Winery Dog. You know, we all know who Mike Portnoy is. There's that guy who's obviously a huge Neil fan. And so I was basically just the kind of the moderator and just asked the questions. And so to answer Chad's question, I learned a little bit about like what kind of person he was. Because this all, like after he died, this all kind of came out. We all knew that he was a private person. We all knew that he kind of kept himself, but to what extent he kept himself was pretty amazing. Like the fact that if the weather was good, he would ride his motorcycle from gig to gig. That's just who he was. He didn't want to get in the van or the bus or whatever with Getty and Alex, and he would just get on the motorcycle and leave first thing in the morning and show up at sound check and do his thing. Or the fact that he had stalkers. You know, Chris talked about they would keep track of, I guess he actually had his own, Neil had his own drum tech, obviously, but he also had his own security guy. And the security guy would go online and follow Neil's stalkers and let them know and find out where they were. And if they were like, say they were playing like in I don't know, let's just say Milwaukee, and he knew he had a couple like super fans there, they would actually email the fans, give them tickets, and send them out drumsticks and t-shirts before the show, just so they could keep eyes on them to know exactly where they were. They're in row 17, seats A and B kind of a thing. You know, that like to that level of, you know, of security for someone like that. You know, the great story was, the funny story was Chris and Neil would ride motorcycles because Neil lived out in California. He lived out in, I think, Santa Monica. And they would ride motorcycles on their day. Hey, let's go riding. Okay, so they go riding, and they went to some little town, and they're standing in line at this restaurant because it's the only restaurant in town. It's a good one, and they're just kind of standing there waiting to turn. And the guy turns around, and all of a sudden he realizes who's standing behind him, and he's like, "You're Neil Peart." And Neil looked at him and said, "Not today, I'm not," and walked out of the restaurant and waited outside until their table was ready, because he was like, "I'm not fucking dealing with this guy."
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know, you just think, you know, like, I mean, it's true, but, you know, there are certain fans of people that, Blaggards fans, of course, that we have to watch out for, and because they're not throwing their underwear on stage. They're going to the store to buy underwear to throw underwear on the stage. The tag's still on it, and tags can cut your eye or something like that. You know, it's challenging, you know, so
that's a
you gotta be careful out
a
there.
nice view. I like it.
You gotta be careful out there.
Yeah, I actually send Def Leppard stuff, so I know exactly where they are. So I'm never in the same town as them. It's a similar, you know. We just
enjoy Boise. Love, Patrick.
I'll go to fucking Coon.
So the one thing that was cool too was I think that we were the ones that, like, some other online stuff was saying, oh, we're going to do a tribute to Neil Peart, but we actually had people that knew him I mean, intimately. And
Yeah.
for someone who was super private like him, to know him, to be invited to his house, to meet his daughter and his wife was, that was, having those kind of folks was really, really special.
Yeah.
And to have that intimate knowledge of, what was he like when he loved to play. He loved to go to, he would go to his daughter's school. I think she was like 8 or 9. He'd go to the school, he'd read to her class, and then he would go to the library and put away books as a volunteer, just because that's what he wanted to do. I mean, that's like, how crazy is that?
It's really cool.
It's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh yeah, I'm one of the greatest drummers in the room. I'm going to put these, books away and help out my kid's school. That's just like, really nice.
Well, if we had more people like that, we wouldn't be sitting at fucking home. More people thinking about other people. We'd have,
And there it is. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's great to, I can't say I was ever a fan, but like I'm saying about all these other players, I'm no doubt how wonderful, what an impact they left on the music world. It doesn't have to be your taste. You don't have to like all that stuff,
Yeah.
But
well, my buddy Bruce, who used to work for Remo, he got let go, of course, because of the stupid COVID thing. He told a story about auditioning for some band out in California, and Eddie was going to be the producer of this. So he actually got a chance to meet Eddie Van Halen, and he said, Eddie, he's like, I was the last guy to audition, and I was taking some stuff out of my car, and Eddie was out smoking a cigarette, and he said, hey, have you done many of these auditions? And Bruce said, no, not really. And Eddie walked up to him and put his hand on his shoulder, said, hey man, just be yourself. Go in there. Don't try to be somebody you think we're looking for. Just go in there and just play, be you. And he thought that was the greatest advice he's ever gotten, but also just like Eddie, just being like a guy, just like, hey man, don't worry about it. You got this. It's going to be cool. He didn't get the audition, but to have, someone like that at that level, just be like, just go in there and be yourself and you're going to be great.
Well, somebody like that is not going to steer you wrong for many different reasons. But if you watch any of his interviews, Eddie's not comfortable, and it never was comfortable behind a microphone in a room. And he said it himself. I've heard him say now, and God knows how many of the videos I've watched. But he said, I speak through music. I don't do. And so if he takes the time to tell you that, it's real advice, and that comes from the heart. And I would, anybody that's interested in any of the videos, any of the, just you really want to take a step back into the private world of Van Halen. David Lee Roth did an amazing, I think it was a 2 or 3 camera shoot. It's just Alex and Eddie sitting on 2 stools and Dave on the other, and they just started from the beginning. And it's a 10-part, maybe, each, it's wonderful, just black and white. And they go through Van Halen, not with a fine tooth comb, but enough to really take a step back in and see from a whole new angle how this, and again, you have to be a David Lee Roth fan because he's so boisterous and funny, and but you have to appreciate his where he comes from to be able to follow along, because it is a ride. It's a fast ride, and it's an enjoyable, informative ride.
Is that on YouTube?
Yeah.
Can you forward the link to me or post it or whatever? And
yeah,
not right now, but at your leisure.
I would gladly.
I appreciate that. I mean, I could use the internet. I mean, this thing I have.
Why would you?
I could look at. I guess I'll just look it up. You know what? I'll just look it up. I'll find it. If I get lost, I'll reach out.
Siri, would you send Eric a bunch of flowers and some champagne? Say, welcome to the internet. Thank you. I don't know why I keep talking into that.
Or you could post it. You could post it on here too for the other people.
Absolutely.
The internet to lead challenged.
Yeah. No, it is. It's superb. And that will be the last time you'll see me talking to the burnt Pop-Tart. Amen. All right.
Yeah. That footage is particularly cool, but just if you know how much the 3 of them hadn't really gotten along, in the best way throughout the decades, but to see them just sharing how much how much they actually went through together, like from essentially day one as kids and going through everything that bands go through together.
Yeah, it's and it's a lesson too, in that you know, if you follow Van Halen to the 1984 record, and again, if you just listening to the music, you know that there's just something magical happening. However, you're not going to guess that there's turmoil. But when Dave left and formed his own thing, you know, he's this is a guy that goes out and he wants to be a paramedic, so he just jumps into the scene in New York City. You know, I mean, he wants to go on a hike, and he just takes off, and he just gets lost, no map, no nothing, and just takes off into, you know, the Amazon, whatever. He'll just do what he's got. So this guy's going to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can tell when he talks. There's no punctuation. It's somebody just undoing a fire hydrant, letting it roar, because he's just not going to stop. So, you know, following their career musically, you're not going to see it. But then when you just get a chance to just take a glimpse behind the scenes and see that stuff, it's just, and even if you're not a fan, it's just, it's wonderful to see, because it's that passion that's just ablaze. That's it's unmatched in a lot of music and a lot of performers and a lot of art, I think.
What's on tap for today, kids? It's Monday. We're recording this. What's on tap for today? What's the plan?
I've got music.
You got music to do?
Mm-hmm. No, I have to edit the show
for tomorrow.
I'm gonna hang a shelf and change my snare drum head.
What shelf? Where?
Gonna put a shelf up in the laundry room. It's actually right there.
Thanksgiving, what are the plans?
Staying home.
Staying home?
Yeah, I mean, my mom and I were planning to meet on the porch stuff, but I think we may just try to play it safe, which is going to be a drag. But after having dealing with this with what turned out to just be the flu the past couple of weeks, I definitely don't want to find out what actual COVID feels like.
Wait a minute, are you saying it's not a hoax? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty sure it's not a hoax. Yeah. Yeah,
it's there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of rumbling. There's a lot of vaccination talk. There's a lot of, I have no idea where it's going. I just know that we gotta get back out. We gotta get back out quick.
Yeah.
And people need to. We had Cindy on here. It seems like a year ago now, but she and her husband Rick both. And she said it was miserable. She worst thing ever. And the outlook is not good. The outlook is not good. I have noticed though, when I've gone to the shops, that the people are now wearing them over their nose, which is progress.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I went to the DMV to get my license. My license had expired, and I finally bit the bullet and decided to go and get a new one because I could not renew online because it had expired. It's 10 years old. And of course I look different now 10 years later, apparently. I have to get my picture taken. And half the people there and half the people working behind the counter were nose exposed. And I was just, this is how this works, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
People just fucking stupid. I think it's a combination of stupidity and they're just bored. They're just over it. Because they all they care about is themselves. Yep.
And they're not praying right. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the one clip, and they go, "Yeah, we're just taking our vitamins and praying." I was like, well, one of them's not working.
Yeah. I remember when this shit went down, and they were talking about having this is back around Easter time. And CNN was interviewing somebody. The guy was wearing a mask, of course. And he's like, "Aren't you worried about going to church?" She's like, "No, I've been washed in the blood. I've been washed in the blood. I'm gonna be just fine." I wonder what that lady's up to these days. I don't know. I haven't heard a word about her, but I want.
Now you're talking. That's the album.
Mm-hmm.
I have some album artwork ideas that are being worked on as we speak. But we need a name for the record. If anybody out there wants to throw some ideas down.
Washed in the blood. Come on, it's right in front of us.
I just
Washed in the blood. Washed in the blood.
Okay.
Oh, Chad pulling the plug.
let it fly. 94 out the door.
So we have a gig Friday at the Baked Potato, or what's it called? The New Potato.
New Potato.
Downtown, apparently.
Yeah. Great view of the city.
Oh, that'll be fun. I think.
Yeah, should be. Chad, will you see if Eric? Will you see if Jeff can do it?
I'm playing Friday.
Yeah. We'll switch it. Possibly live stream.
What's the start time?
That's what I'll check on that.
Don't know.
It's kind of up to us.
Okay.
If Jeff can do it, then we'll just do a two-setter.
Is this gig outdoors?
Yes.
Okay. You're dog friendly.
Ooh.
That's all I got. But yeah, they do have a nice view. Look at that. All right, it should be fun.
All right, I'll check on the time. Chad, you check with Jeff.
We'll do.
So everybody, yes, blaggards.com for the latest, and we do have a bunch of stuff on our page. We got some coffee mugs coming in. Hopefully the next time we'll be back in a room sparring with new coffee mugs and hopefully some good news on what's about to happen in the very near future. But again, thanks for listening, and join us. We're gonna live stream on Friday, and it's gonna be really fun because guaranteed nobody's practiced. So it's gonna be fun.
It's always fun.
Yeah,
It'll be energetic.
that it will be.
Yeah.
That it will be.
Bye, folks.
Cool.
Wear a mask.
Be safe.
Be a dick. Exactly.